Hello, my friends. Welcome back to KSP. And today we're going to be going to Minmus, the Earth's second moon in this game. We're going to be landing on Minmus. So let us turn on SAS and launch. Okay, we have reached 15 meters per second. Now we are going to be turning east. So let us start turning east. So we're going to be slowly turning to 100. Sorry, I just get nervous sometimes. So now we are going to be turning to 90 degrees while we get to 10,000 meters of altitude. So now we're just waiting. We have reached 10,000 meters altitude. Now I'm just going to the map and then clicking on my apoapsis to select it and see what my apoapsis is. Now we're going to be logged on to Prograde until our apoapsis reaches 100 kilometers. So see you guys! So now we have reached the 100 kilometers altitude, so we are going to be making maneuver node to get us a stable circular low carbon orbit. So now I'm just warping to the time when I need to start the burn and locking to maneuver mode. Locking to maneuver mode means that it will automatically turn to the direction I need to turn to when I need to start the burn. That will help me with the maneuver burn. So now we're waiting. We have started the burn, but wait a second. It seems like our apoapsis is getting lower. That's not supposed to happen. Oh no! Let me just warp to my correct time. Okay, now I think we're supposed to start the burn. Oh no, we have to wait for a couple more seconds. It's in why isn't the counter? Oh, it's coming down. So now wait, why is it now T minus? Okay, I think I should start the burn now. Yeah, I don't know. And let me just go with the normal method instead of following the maneuver node. This maneuver node stuff is too complicated, so let me cancel it. So now I am starting the burn to circularize my orbit. Okay. Now I'll meet you guys once again when I have successfully circularized the orbit. See you guys later. regularized my orbit. So now I'm going to set Minmus, our target, as our target, so we can get on the same plane as it. So we're going to be doing a anti-normal burn. Which, so- Sorry, we are going to be doing an anti-normal burn to get to the same plane as Minmus. So now I'm going to be going to the part when I successfully change my plane to be the same as Minmus. Bye! So now we're going to be making a maneuver node and getting an encounter with Minmus. Now, getting a Minmus encounter is quite difficult since its sphere of influence is quite low. But we got a Minmus encounter without much difficulty, so that's very good. So now I'm just trying to get as close as a Minmus encounter I can get. Now I'm just fine tuning it a little bit, and now I'm warping to the time when I will start my encounter. So now I'm going to go to my maneuver direction and start the burn. The burn will be starting around about in a couple seconds. Okay, the burn has started. Now we're just going to be waiting until the burn successfully matches the maneuver node that we have planned out. So the waiting starts. Now I have successfully gotten an Minmus encounter. So I am going to be warping to our Minmus periapsis, and then I'll be burning retrograde to slow us down so that we can get into a stable Minmus orbit. So I am currently warping to my periapsis. So yeah, now when we get into the periapsis, burning retrograde means that our speed will slow down. So we will be able to get in stable orbit. Currently, our periapsis is about 1,000,000 meters above uh, Minmus, but if we burn retrograde, I think we will be able to lower that down. So I'm now starting, I'm now warping a little more closer to my periapsis, and then when we get there, I will start my burn. Okay, now we have successfully warped to our periapsis, and now we are starting the burn. As you can see, our Minmus escape time is going up. So that means we are going to be escaping the sphere of influence of Minmus later and later. And when it goes up by a lot, then we will never leave the sphere of influence of Minmus, and we will be in a stable orbit. Now we are continuing the burn. I'm just checking how many kilometers above Minmus I am. We will be getting into the orbit pretty soon. As you can see, our carbon orbit is actually getting larger because we are using the gravity of Minmus to increase our speed. This is actually known as gravity assist, but we are actually not using this now, so there's no need to elaborate. So now we are successfully in a Minmus orbit. Now I'm just bringing the apoapsis down to my height and bringing the periapsis down to a relatively stable 21 kilometers above Minmus. Oh, actually, we're just going to be going 42 kilometers. I actually mistold the name. Uh, so now we will be going to burn retrograde again to lower down our apoapsis. And now we will be warping to our apoapsis and zooming in. You can see the planet of Minmus. So not the planet, the moon of Minmus. Minmus is actually moon of Kerbin. As we can see, I think you can even see Saturn there. Now I'm just rotating the ship so that our main pilot can see the moon. These actually look like lakes, but they're not lakes. They're actually flat plains. Now I'm time warping a little bit more, and now I have started yet another retrograde burn to bring us down to a suborbital trajectory. Now I'm just warping a little bit closer to the ground. Now I'm just going to be burning retrograde a little more to slow down my speed. I will actually be making a quick save later in this video because I am actually very nervous about crashing into Minmus. This is my third attempt at a Minmus landing. And all of my earlier attempts have gone astray, either because I forgot a heat shield or I accidentally didn't change my nav ball from orbital to surface, and I was actually in a geostationary orbit around Minmus. So I was moving 9.8 meters per second horizontally. We currently don't have any communication with our planet Kerbin, so we're relying on our pilot to land us successfully here. We are actually going to be doing this mission to get some science so we can unlock new research stuff to get an even to get an even better attempt at a Duna landing. If you don't know, a Duna is the in-game representation of Mars. For a Duna landing, we need very high tech engines and stuff. So now I'm just going to be slowly landing on Minmus. Successfully landed. Now I'm just going to be warping and time warping until we are in the sunlight so that we can get a better view at things. So here I am at 100 times warp. Now I have jumped up to 1000 times times time warp. I'm just checking where I am in the planet. It seems to me that we're going to be getting a sunrise really soon. So now we're just waiting. Oh no, wait a second. I accidentally launched my ship. Oh no, 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 no. Now I'm going to try to land successfully because I accidentally fired my rockets while I was trying to time warp. I actually forgot that this was going to happen. This is really suspenseful. Mm, I was very much in tension because I actually forgot to make a quick save. So if this failed, then I was going to have to do another mission, but successfully, but thankfully, it successfully landed correctly, and now I could start time warping again, whilst being very careful not to start the engine. By this time, our astronauts had already been in space for 5 days. We can even see the moon and a carbon there. Now we're going to be starting our science experiments. Okay, now I'm just going to be closing my Science 9000 Junior to get to my barometer. Oh, I thought I was going to close it. I was just going to do it normally. Okay then. But still, it closed looks much better than it opened. Now our scientist is going to do an EVA or an extravehicular activity. She's going to take the science experiments from each of them. First, the SC9000 Science Junior, then after going a little down, the mystery goo containment unit, then from the prismat barometer, and then finally the too hot thermometer. Now I'm just going to be taking a surface sample. How I take a surface sample from the without even going to the surface, I don't know. And then I will be taking an EVA report. Now I actually going to the I actually am going to be going to the surface to plant a flag. I couldn't leave Minmus without planting a flag, could I? And now I'm just trying to successfully go down, and yes, mm, in Minmus there is very low gravity. Uh, so I can jump really high. So I plant a flag. So now I'm going to be planting a flag on Minmus. And yes, now I'm going to be going back into the capsule. As you can see, in low gravity, even walking makes me jump so high. So now I'm trying to climb a fuel tank. Now I turned on my jetpack and I grabbed the handle and went into my cabin. Now I'm just getting a career report to get some additional signs. Okay, now I'm going to be starting the journey back home in another episode. Or in this one. I don't know. Just kidding, I'm going to be doing the return journey in this episode only. So now I'm just going to get and small apoapsis of around about 15,740 meters. Now I'm going to add in maneuver and burn retrograde. Now I'm going to be shooting out of Minmus into a high Kerbin orbit. It is very, very elliptical. I just go a little bit more retrograde and see what I can do before it just becomes a Minmus orbit. So I decide to go a little bit more prograde and start the journey back home. So now I start the burn whilst going into maneuver mode. Now I have started the burn. It will take a little time to finish. Okay. Now we have successfully escaped the sphere of influence of Minmus. Oh, not now. Yes, now we have escaped the sphere of influence of Minmus, and I'm trying to get it as close as I can to my planned burn. So it's close enough that I finish my burn. Now I'm just warping until I leave Minmus. You can see Earth and the moon there. I'm just searching the night sky for Minmus. Actually, in space, it's always night. Unless you're facing right at the sun because everything is black. But now I'm just searching for Minmus where it might be. Oh, yes, we found Minmus. There it is. And now we're going to be warping away from it. You can see it getting smaller and smaller. We're around about 2,000 kilometers above Minmus. You can even see the Milky Way galaxy from here. So okay, I'm going to be warping to my apps so I can get the most efficient retrograde burn to slow me down. I am already my orbit is at only 200 meters per second. Now I am just right clicking on my periapsis to see where it is, and now I am going to be starting to burn retrograde. So I have started the burn, and now my periapsis is dropping. Drop to 1 million. And yes, 43 kilometers. I'm just thinking about burning a little more prograde because that might be a little too much. So I burn a little more prograde and then warp here. I actually don't warp here currently because there are so many things in orbit around Kerbin. So I can't click there in my orbit. I should really stop my habit of leaving so many things behind in space. But hey, if NASA doesn't do it, why do I need to? Now I have 100% signal strength with Earth. So now I'm warping a little closer to our periapsis. I'm just checking how much electric charge we have so that we can keep turning on SAS while coming to Earth. But now I am just wiping a little more until I get to exactly my periapsis, and then I'll be starting another retrograde burn to bring my periapsis a little closer. It's actually much easier to get a Minmus. Actually, it's much easier to get a moon encounter than a Minmus encounter. But moon encounters not generally take more delta V. So I'm starting another retrograde burn to hopefully bring me into the atmosphere. I will now be using up my last rocket stage to slow me down a little bit more before the final entry into Earth. We can even see the Aurora Borealis from here. Wow! Okay, now I am slowing down my ship using my uh, engine. Okay, now I have nearly burnt out my engine. When I actually burn it out fully, then I'll start. Then I'll separate it from the rest of my ship. I am still okay. So I have started to burn in my re-entry procedure. This is caused because of the air resistance causing so much friction, and as we all know, friction causes heat. Now the stage has run out, so I am going to detach it from my capsule. We have started to slightly overheat, but that's not too big of a problem since we have a heat shield in here. So now we will be starting a very long and hot re-entry. So I'm just going to be making my uh, parachutes so that they deploy at 5,000 meters instead of the normal 1,000. It's actually getting really hot. Even my heat shield has started overheating. This is a very, very, very stressing. Now I have changed both of them and to deploy at altitudes of 5,000 meters. I mean the both of the parachutes. So now we're just going to be waiting, I think. This overheating is really stressing me out. I can see the Earth coming closer. I am at just I am a height of just 20 kilometers above Earth. Not Earth. This is actually called Kerbin. I think the overheating problem has solved itself. We're not overheating that much anymore. Okay, now the flame is dying out. Yes, I think that we are going to land successfully. This is very good news. Now we just have to wait for our. Okay, the flame has died down completely. The parachutes are still not deploying. That's scaring me a little bit. Okay, yes, the parachutes have deployed. A clap to our brave Kerbals. Now we're just going to fast forward through the rest of the boring parachute procedure. like and share. Bye bye.